Today, thanks to the quick action of my administration over the past few days, Americans can have confidence that the banking system is safe. Now we need to keep this progress going. That's what swift action that my administration over the past few years is all about. Protecting depositors, protecting the banking system, protecting the economic gains we've made together for the American people. Thank you, God bless you, and may God protect our troops. See you in California.
Mr. President, what do you know right now about why this happened? And can you assure Americans that there won't be a ripple effect?
Do you expect other banks to fail, Mr. President?
Should all depositors be protected at all banks?
I don't know about you guys, but there's something about how quickly this guy ran off stage, slammed the door behind him, and pretended like he was deaf, not answering any of the reporters' questions. That doesn't necessarily make me feel like I should have a lot more confidence in the banking system. But that's the most popular president ever elected in the history of this country, and I bet you he's going to be running again in 18 months. All right, we got a lot to get to tonight. We got to talk about what's going on with the banks. Of course, we're going to get to the AMC proxy vote from yesterday. That was a landslide victory for pass. Almost 90% of you guys voted. Reverse split and conversion is going to happen. So I want to talk about the future of AMC, as long as nothing is held up in the court system, and we'll address that too, what this vote means for the decision out of Allegheny. And if we have time, I want to discuss one of the comments that was left on the last video and why I use certain sources in order to collect news information for you guys. All right, but before we do any of that and get way too far ahead of ourselves,
cue the speeder.
This is the way.
good evening, beautiful people. Guys, what's going on? It is Wednesday, March 15th, 2023, and we're discussing the AMC proxy vote that passed yesterday by a number of about 88% in favor of conversion and reverse split. So that means that we are going to be saying goodbye to APE very soon, which I'm not going to say that I'm sad to see it go, because all it did was bring a bunch of heartache and pain to me since that split happened, that dividend split. Now, I don't know how this is all going to play out, but I did notice yesterday the price action was a little strange, and I did find someone who broke it down really well, so I'll let you guys listen in to what he said.
The share, AMC took a tank down, it's 460. Let me explain the reason why. Now, the more cheap ape you have gives you more AMC, because they're 10 to 1 if the judge approves. So the more ape you have, it converts over to AMC. So the shorters, you know, the hedgies, are grabbing up ape, because ape will become AMC. And there you go. Oh my God. This is just the beginning of everything. Don't worry about it. This is just the beginning of the fucking, of the craziness here.
Now, it's funny. I could have sworn last year around this time, all we kept hearing was AMC is over. This is the end. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else, maybe a different YouTuber that kept telling us that this was over. But that was a pretty good breakdown of yesterday, what probably happened. I think there was a lot going on. The price action was a little weird to me. I thought we had already had a lot of that priced in already, but apparently not. And we saw a little more of a sell-off today, but that went pretty much with the market, right? There was an announcement that Credit Suisse was in trouble, and the markets didn't react too well to that, even though it seems like they have been financially backed by the government, so I don't think they're going anywhere right now. But how ironic is it that just a few months ago, they were telling everyone to get out of AMC because it was going under $1, and they were going bankrupt, and here we are, not even 3 months later, and it's actually Credit Suisse that finds itself in major trouble right now, and on the brink of a collapse. I guess the lesson here would be careful what you wish for. Now, as far as AMC and the conversion to APE, let's talk about what this means for the stock going forward. And there's really two things I want to focus on tonight. I'm not going to get into too much detail about the fundamentals of AMC tonight, but I want to talk more about the risk versus reward going forward. Now, none of us could have imagined, if you had told us when this first announcement was made for the proxy vote, that right before the proxy, during that same week, we were going to have 5 or 6 major banks go under. It really makes things interesting. I know it's a tumultuous time right now, and it's not good what's going on, but this could present an opportunity to retail, especially some of these more heavily shorted stocks. Who knows what could happen if we see some type of domino effect go on. I don't know if we won't see some of the bad things that we expect are going on behind the scenes come to light when this is all said and done. And I still don't think that the chance of a squeeze from an unknown catalyst or a black swan event is out of the question. The question is, how risky is it keeping my money in AMC right now? Of course, everyone's threshold for pain is different, and whether or not you find the reward worth the risk is completely up to you. But I think that for me personally, knowing everything that's going on right now with AMC, how they are working to get themselves out of debt, how they just got this proxy to pass, which is now going to open them up to have some dilution, but it's going to give them the ability to lower the float, make the stock much more appealing, and possibly raise a bunch of cash. And then they can use that cash and deploy it where it is necessary in order to bring the company back and annihilate the short thesis. And for me, I think patience is the key here. And as much as I'm sick of talking about AMC, God knows I am, I still think that when all is said and done, the juice will be worth the squeeze. And I'm really hoping that a lot of us are going to get made whole when this play is over. I know we're probably going to lose some people because of the proxy vote. I know a lot of people are not happy. Some people even think the vote was fixed. You know, I'm not necessarily happy with the way things went down, but it kind of turns a new leaf. And now we're into a different situation, which I never expected we'd be in. But then again, if you had told me 2 years ago that when we got to March of 2023, we would have seen 2 of the 3 biggest collapses in banking history happen right here in our own backyard, I probably would have said you were crazy. But here we are. Now, as I've told you guys before, I am not very well versed in the law. So when it comes to the court case that's still coming up, the Allegheny lawsuit against AMC for APE, I don't know if this gives it more teeth or less. I think the 90 percentile voting in favor of the conversion and reverse split is going to be a sticking point with the judge, and it actually might help to get the case thrown out. I don't think the lawsuit had a lot of teeth in the beginning, and I think this is only hurting it. But of course, that's just my speculation. Don't make any decisions based off that info. Now, the last thing I want to touch on, because it looks like we're running out of time already, is the bank collapse and what Joe Biden said the other day. Janet Yellen saying the taxpayers would not be the ones who have to bail out these banks and the depositors who made all of these risky decisions. And something that Mr. Wonderful Kevin OLeary, who just happens to again be at the center of this with a bunch of his deposits going missing, just like FTX. But I want you to listen to what he said, and we'll come back and talk about it after the clip. Watch.
And what I see here, you know, regardless of where you stand in politics, is a pretty bad policy, because what we did, in my view, it's a personal opinion, over the weekend is to nationalize the American banking system. We basically told everybody around the world, regardless of who you are and what bank you're in, no matter how much you have, we guarantee it. We don't care who you are or why it's there, but no matter what happens, it's guaranteed. So just think about it. I'd like to keep this very simple. I'm a bank manager in a bank today after this new policy decision, and I get compensated on the value of my bank's stock. You just told me I could take all the depositors' money, go to Las Vegas, put it on red. Maybe I double it, maybe I lose it all, but it doesn't matter to me, because you, the taxpayer, and the government guarantee all my depositors. As long as I play by the rules that we have now and the football rules of banking, I get to go crazy. And I think this is a very bad mistake.
Now, I know the administration, Janet Yellen, they've come out and said that the taxpayer is not going to be on the hook for any of this bailout, that it will be taken out of the rainy day fund from the FDIC. Unfortunately, those fees are passed along to the customer and the consumer from the banks. So in reality, we are going to end up paying this in the long run. It'll either be by outsourcing your jobs overseas from the banks, having less tellers, less customer service reps, increasing the cost for a money order. Eventually, they'll get their money back. And that's not even the worst part of it. I think what Kevin O'Leary said is even more scary. This is going to incentivize more risk. And the last thing we need right now are a bunch of cowboys who are hell-bent on trying to make as much money as possible before there's more of a pullback or a recession or even a depression. Whatever lies ahead of us, whatever they are trying to avoid right now and capitalize on. Don't be surprised if the U.S. government tries to use the excuse of a banking collapse, a controlled demolition, in order to implement a CBDC. And I know some of you guys think it's conspiracy theory, but if this continues the way it is, we might see that a lot sooner than we originally thought. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there for tonight. We'll be going live tomorrow night, I believe around 9:30. Thank you guys so much. If you made it this far in the video, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like and subscribe button. I'm going to make sure I get up tomorrow morning early and answer all the comments. As always, guys, thank you for all the likes, the views, the comments, my new subscribers, my OGs. I appreciate each and every one of you. We are here to break the wheel. This is Ape Nation, I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.